Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Anna's Aqua Home, and thanks so much for clicking on my video. This is a great project to use up some extra scraps. Here I am cutting up some 2.5-inch squares, and that's what I'm going to be using for the outside of my little mini wallet. I used a whole bunch of scrap material, but you're welcome to use any kind of fabrics you wanted. Sewing these little squares together is super quick and super easy. This is a great project for when you don't have a bunch of time, but you still want a little handmade something. These little squares go really quickly sewing them together, and you can do so many different patterns. For my little wallet, I decided to do little squares, so I put 4 of those squares together, and it's going to be a 4-inch little wallet when it's done. Go ahead and lay the seams flat and give it a quick iron so that they are ready to go. For my wallet, I wanted the bottom to have little rounded edges, so I first decided which side I wanted to be the top, put my 2 patchwork squares right sides together, and then trimmed off the bottom edges. I just trimmed off the little corners, and you can make this a big curve or just a small little curve. I sewed around that, making sure to backstitch at both ends. I went ahead and sewed 3 sides of my little squares and left the top open. I did not sew that. Then I needed a lining fabric. I chose this little aqua polka dot fabric. It matches really well. I probably could have ironed this, but I didn't. It was just going in the lining. So I went ahead and cut that out and again trimmed the little bottom edges so that it would match the curve of the outside patchwork squares. I am going to be so sad when this little polka dot fabric runs out. It is one of my favorite fabrics that I have. I love the color, the cute little polka dots, so I'm definitely using it for lots of small little projects. I put this right sides together, and then I'm going to sew it on all 3 sides, but I'm going to leave an inch opening at the bottom where I am not going to sew. And that is so that we can turn this whole little mini wallet out inside out once it's time. Now, this little wallet is going to be a no zipper wallet. What does that mean? It means I'm going to use something besides a zipper, because zippers are a little bit more difficult. I'm going to use a piece of Velcro. So that's what I'm going to do to make this super simple. I have a thick piece of Velcro and a small piece of Velcro, so you can do whichever width of Velcro you want. I used a thicker piece of Velcro and then just cut it in half, so it was only about 1/4 of an inch wide. So take your little Velcro and separate it into the 2 parts. There's the hook part and the loop part. I'm going to start with the hook part and lay it 1/4 of an inch down from the top of my mini wallet. First, be sure to trim it so that it is just as wide as the 2 seams. So I'm going to lay it inside, and this is going to be the closure. So lay it 1/4 of an inch down, because we're going to use a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to attach it to the outside. So go ahead, and we are putting this Velcro liner on the lining fabric. So put it 1/4 of an inch down, maybe a little bit more. I think if I did this again, I would try a 1/2 inch down, just to give it a little bit more room. Lay that on there, pin it in place, and we are going to just sew over it. We're working with a very small space here, so make sure you don't get your fingers or sew over a needle. Just go slow and make sure you get this Velcro really tightly, securely sewn in place. I went around both edges, so I went down the top and then I went back on the bottom edge. So I think 2 seams sewing this Velcro in place should be enough. Then I repeated that on the other side with the loop side of the Velcro and just sewed it down one side and sewed it back the other. Here is where everything starts to get really fun. So I'm making sure my Velcro works. You can see it in there. And then this is where we're going to attach the lining and the outside of my mini wallet. I went ahead and I'm going to add a tiny little wallet clip. I'm going to add a little fabric as a hanger to attach to either a lanyard or my wallet. So I'm going to put the lining right sides out, and I'm going to slide it into my patchwork squares. So I'm putting right sides together. So this is going to be pretty much backwards of what it's going to look like. So right sides together, I'm going to match up the edges, and then don't forget that small fabric hanger. There's a bunch of different pieces going in here, and once you sew, that is where it is going to be permanently. So definitely take your time, use lots of pins even in this small area to make sure all the seams are in the right place, your little hanger is where you want it to be, and everything looks good. To make my little hanger, I just used a scrap piece of fabric and folded it over a couple times, but if you wanted, you could always use ribbon for this. That would be a really quick, easy way to add a little hanger. You could also put this on the edge of your little wallet if you wanted to sew it into the patchwork squares. That would also work if you would rather have it on the side instead of the top. Okay, this is a fun part. This is the final couple seams, and you've got a bunch of fabric here. You've got your outer piece, you've got your lining, you've got the Velcro that is also in there that you're not going to sew over, and then you've got your little hanger. And so it's a lot of things all layered in here together. So you're just going to go slow, take the pins out as you go, and go around both of the tops. Remember, we sewed the other 3 edges, so now we're sewing both tops together. These are right sides together, so we are looking at the outside of the patchwork squares. Let's go ahead and turn this inside out. So you can see we've sewn around the very top with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. We have our little hanger in there. Now let's pull the lining fabric out, and remember we left that small little opening on the lining that we did not sew. Now you're going to reach through that and pull out the rest of the fabric through this. This is how we get the pretty fabric on the outside, is by just pulling that through. The little hanger pops out as well. Now's a good time to trim off any threads that you see so that they're not in the way. To finish this up, I'm going to close up this bottom, and you could hand sew, but I'm just going to machine sew a straight line right over there. And now that is secure, and I can push this lining fabric right into my mini wallet. There we go, it closes. It has a little loop to attach things to. It has that Velcro. It doesn't have a zipper, which makes it a lot easier and quicker to do. I just absolutely love how this works. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew around the top 1/4 of an inch just so that the lining stays in place and doesn't try to pop out. This is the very final scene of this little mini wallet, so you do want to make sure to go slow and make it look really nice. You don't want a really crooked seam to be on the outside, since this one will be showing around the top. So go slow even though you're almost done. And here is my little mini wallet. I absolutely love it. It holds just enough important things to clip on the outside of a purse or slip a few cards or cash in. And I absolutely love the colors. They are so springy and I love it. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you get some ideas, and I hope you go make a mini wallet of your very own. Thanks for watching.